did spell it right. Caller. Did I? Yeah, cool. Options. What are controls? Crosshair. I don't know what game this is. We're gonna learn this together. I didn't read any of the reviews or anything, so yay! I should play Inscription again, huh? I'll do that next. Did I download Peggle? Please hold. I look something up. It's taking forever to load. Oh, what the fuck? Northern Quebec.
Carl Faubert sought information for a living. That is to say that ever since he returned from Korea, after having served with the armed forces, he had been working as a private investigator in Montreal. William Hamilton, a rich industrialist, had gotten in touch with him regarding a simple vandalism issue. Nothing to write home about. Not worth hiring a private eye either, just so he could drive for hours on rough roads. But that's how it had always been. The client pays, Carl gets it done. They had set up to meet at the general store, his client's business. Well, actually, the entire village had William Hamilton's name written all over it.
Who's Liam Hamilton?
When the roads were bad, muddy, or snowed in, it was customary around these parts to close them off. But it was also customary to ignore those signs entirely and drive there anyway.
This is the rest stop. Man is saying it will be good. Oh, what the fuck? 5 minutes. In these games, the phones always ring. Okay.
Still not a soul in sight. There was no point in waiting any longer. Carl had to figure this one out by himself.
But I got the truck. Fire starter. Alright, I think we gotta go up here maybe. Or maybe they're in the okay. Are they supposed to scare me and not go up maybe? This looks like something I'll build out of Lincoln logs. Is there fire starter? Figure out how to sprint. Let's go.
Hamilton never mentioned a road blocking barrier. Why was it needed here in the back of Beyond? That would, however, be a mystery for another day. Carl had waited long enough for someone to come and raise it. Hamilton is waiting for Carl in the general store. It was time for him to get down to business.
I was gonna ramp through it, to be honest.
Hamilton enjoyed a lavish country house built in the very heart of the northern forests, not too far from here. The local populace was divided when it came to the affluent man. Some saw a wealthy philanthropist dedicated to improving the region's economy. Others an aging Englishman who would do anything to further his fortunes. And those ones hated him enough to go on about scheming against him. Hamilton had recently acquired a few local businesses, but the last straw was the reopening of a mine, which gave rise to a wave of protests and threats from the Cree people.
Oh, I hate these roads.
In these circumstances, Carl reckoned that a good number of people must be feeling compelled to oppose Hamilton in one way or another. So far, only the industrialist's house had been a target, but soon enough, Carl thought, the target would become the man himself. Now wasn't a good time to wander about. Hamilton was still out there. Carl was dying to stretch his legs, but he had to stay focused on the task at hand. Carl's military training had made him a very punctual man. Being late to his meeting with Hamilton was out of the question.
Just wanted to see that. Okay, fine. You couldn't even drive. Yeehaw!
Carl was dying to stretch his legs, but he had to stay focused on the task at hand.
My belief. What the fuck? Were we on the wrong side of the road? Maybe we were just on the wrong road entirely. A few hours later, goddamn. That boy not have a concussion?
Carl needed to get out of there. The cold and the pain required urgent care.
How do you open the door? Someone's out to get him. Hard. Fuck.
It was so cold. Already Carl did not feel his toes anymore. Even better than he had hoped. Carl Flaubert had succeeded once more, and was now on his way to new adventures.
What was the point of going out there then? Rest for a minute. feel like this was conveniently placed here. What? I have a log. Oh, motherfucker. I came up here for nothing.
The driver had taken off. It was still best to check it out and leave nothing to chance. Carl needed help. It was a small, locked box engraved with the letters WH. Carl thought about taking it. Nothing was to be left to chance.
Isabel, you gave me everything when you
Heart-wrenching,
disappeared.
nor
So
did
did Fury. I would
Carl
defend
didn't
Fury
care
against
much
the
about
winds, the
flowery
tides, and the ice and blizzard. Okay. Should probably get my fire started. Oh, I'm gonna die.
This deep in the country, his last hope was to find an abandoned garage or a farm by the roadside. His life depended on it.
So basically it's telling me, hey, get your dumb ass back where you were. There are boxes of cocaine or something in there, huh? I take this. I could actually. I don't know what to do.
always carried his log on him, in which he scribbled down thoughts and leads alike during the course of his investigations.
Alright, warm up body. And he will lose. That's what I got. I found the crouch button. Heal. My heal. Ace of Italy. Man, Montreal. We do private detective. I made private detective the same available on my whatever position for my time in Korea. Usually I'm hired to attract unfaithful husbands, but the ones that are expensive so are scared these days. William Heffernan hired me. He had checked many promises. I wanted to leave Montreal and then I picked the perfect place to get away. And to leave, you leave. Rich industrialist, much hated and much loved. Anything that isn't his Manson region, he wants. Buying his only power, Hamilton was depleted. Time and time again of being prosecuted. Sometimes he'll save the people of, and sometimes the free people would say he deserves it. When you exploit people, the least you can do is stay away from them. From Hampton, male, Chicago, businessman, 55. Photos. A cold mystery, crash, weather into error margin of 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. I think I'm healed. No, it's going down faster than I can walk. Why am I slowing down? Why can't I go any further? That is the road to the general store. There we go.
Carl's military training had made him a very punctual man. Being late to his meeting with Hamilton was out of the question. Now wasn't a good time to wander about. Hamilton was still out there. Carl was dying to stretch his legs, but he had to stay focused on the task at hand. Now wasn't a good time to wander about. Hamilton was still out there. Stretch his legs, but he had to stay focused on the task at hand. Now wasn't a good time to wander about.
I don't understand. It won't let me go.
Hamilton was still out there. Carl's military training had made him a very punctual man. Being late to his meeting with Hamilton was out of the question. Now wasn't a good time to wander about. Hamilton
don't know where we're at. Bear with me for a second. It wouldn't let me go. Was I pushing the wrong button, maybe? Ooh. Maybe you'll try the button. That could be it. Okay. Go. Come to. Got it. Run.
Spread out on a few acres of untouched forest, bellowing caribou, everlasting snow, and undefiled lakes. The Manistan region was no tourist hub. It was said to have been populated for millennia by Cree people, and ever since the industrial era, by the metal mining industry. The truck was running on fumes. Good thing that the general store was close by.
Who? The general. Bitch, I need fucking gas.
Something fell to the bottom of the box.
Oh!
Carl had no trouble recognizing his employer. He had been killed. There was no need to be a detective to figure that out. But only a detective could have noticed that the killer had to have been very close. That the fatal blow had been given before the victim even realized.
Holy shoot.
What could be inside that envelope? Carl was taken aback. He knew this address. It was said to be the address of the P.O. box for the Canadian Secret Service.
Canadian Secret Service, huh? Oh, God, he's taking a picture of the body? Alright.
Carl felt a chill down his spine and had a terrifying realization. If Hamilton was dead, then who was going to pay him?
Oh!
An explosion suddenly occurred outside.
No. There's the phone, I'm calling 911. Broken clock, how convenient.
The snowstorm pummeled everything in its path. Carl was not surprised when he heard no tone.
You know what, Hamilton? I far
Carl knew that Gilles
people
Lachance was in charge of the
so-
general store.
What?
That made him one of
Do not
Hamilton's
take risks
employees.
going to work.
A very
Customers
angry
depend on
employee,
my
as
wise
Carl
man.
could
Now
plainly see.
I have a doctor's note which I'm going to get out right now. What the fuck? I'm not taking a picture. Probably look at that note again. My pump's on. Nice. That's the garage.
Maintaining his composure, Carl recalled something from his military training. Wolves always stay away from populated areas. Wait, was it about bears? The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time. Carl was no electrician, but he could identify a wiring problem when he saw one.
At least we know it's fragile. Oh, I need those. Yes, I don't.
Carl was used to strange phenomena, but a chunk of ice like this, as if an iceberg came out of the ground, that was a first. Carl was no electrician, but he could identify a wiring problem when he saw one.
What happened to the fucking... Oh, that's a turtle.
The milkman had to drive by every week to fill the bottles. The fresh milk indicated a recent visit. The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store.
I did.
A radiator without power is as good as a wood stove without logs.
This place is a mess. Wait. Oh, the body's not... Covered it. Wait, no we didn't. Now the mood to drink maple syrup. Mysterious unbranded cans. Lovely. Okay. Cash register. Open the cash register. 2 minimum. Press sale. Crank. Punch the machine if it doesn't work. Punch the price. 2 numbers. Press sale. Crank 2 times. scenery or all right. Oh, God damn it. Whoa!
According to that
All right.
log, it seemed like the whole village owed some money to the general store. Carl was far more interested in the bunch of nearby addresses he had just gotten his hands on, though.
Alright, let's go deal with this wiring problem, shall we? No! Why is it so dark? Maybe.
The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time.
Oh, motherfucker. Alright. General Properties looks like the post. Also serves as a post office. What is
A
Carl?
nice
What is
picture of
Carl?
the Magasin La Chance store, seemingly taken the day it was first opened. It feels frozen in time, from an era long forgotten. Amateur
not
hunters
forgotten,
showing
is
some
it?
pride in having killed a nice pelted beast. With men like this roaming the area, wolves would become extinct within 10 years, Carl thought.
Could have been traveled half of the province if commanded to come here. Okay. That's just the light reflecting off of it. A broken clock. Already got the keys.
The pumps wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they
What
had
do
to
you
be
mean?
switched on from inside the store. The murder weapon. What was that doing there, Carl wondered. Hamilton must have been determined to keep some information secret to post this key. Shame he got unlucky. Everything made sense now. Poor Hamilton's denunciation was interrupted.
Citizen of Her
And he
Majesty,
figured
the
it would
free
be
from
best to lock everything up
address
and
to
send the key
follow
to his
proper
correspondent,
authorities,
who would receive
rewards.
the box later on. Clever, but not enough. That's what happens to ordinary
Here, I
people playing
believe the world
spy.
of Dave. that shit off. Man. I don't have everything from the...
Carl knew straight away where to find the infuriated Gilles Lachance. Any good investigation would have to start there.
You can totally follow the tracks. We should have power. Why don't we have power?
At long last, the crowbar was within Carl's grasp. Surely it would come in handy at some point.
The cleanest spot in the area. What? Let's pull this baby down. Oh well. Ooh.
Carl was beginning to know the store and its surroundings like the back of his hand. The seeker had said.
I don't know what's going on. No, I don't. What is going on? It makes it good for
In spite of Dr. Beaupre's goodwill, the place didn't look much like a physician's office. It could easily be mistaken for a sewing shop. There should be a law forbidding doctors from falling sick. Carl got the trembles as he imagined the excruciating pain that kind of scalpel could no doubt inflict. Within these miserable walls, patients probably felt more like in a slaughterhouse than in a doctor's office. Carl got the trembles as he imagined the excruciating pain that kind of scalpel could no doubt inflict. Within these miserable walls, patients probably felt more like in a slaughterhouse than in a doctor's office. The good doctor, flanked by his beautiful spouse. Pure happiness captured on cardstock. Carl recognized his woman's soulful eyes. Was it Dr. Beaupre who had hit him head-on at the village border? Doctors used light-reflecting frontal mirrors to look inside the patient's cavities. That was a bit unsettling, but back then, it was pretty much always the case with medicine. The injured could be recognized by the large stains of red, an informal nickname given to Merbroman, smudged all over their injuries. The injured could be recognized by the large stains of red, an informal nickname given to Merbroman, smudged all over their injuries. For the one-eyed, or for other vision problems, the eye patch was the way to go. Someone had lost a few liters of blood here. Carl's first thought had been a lumber accident, someone's hand cut by a saw, or a hunting accident. In any case, whoever had lost all this blood couldn't have gone far. Perhaps they were already dead. take in searching this place full of oddities. Everything was important. The decor itself told a story.
Oh, mon bonhomme! Je m'attendais pas à ce qu'un étrange retentisse par ici. Moi te dire, je prends un peu de chance depuis que ça rôde dans ce bout-là. J'ai ma carabine au bout du doigt, et puis bang, 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 si ça s'approche. Si tu veux du linge chaud, parce que t'es habillé comme un gars de la ville, je dirais pas non à une bonne bouteille de caribou, puis tu pigeras ce que tu voudras parmi mes guenilles. Ta balance sur mon caribou de tarde. C'est encore bon. Tout ce qui est vieilli est bien meilleur. Oui, la corriveau. Ça passe l'envie de te marier, la corriveau. À tuer tous ses maris. Squick, les uns après les autres. Pas de pitié dans le mariage. Gomme-moi la belle rose la tulipe, qui se donne au yard sur le mercredi des cendres. Si tu peux effrayer un fou, vois-tu le livre, là? C'est le Wendigo. Ouais, le Wendigo. Un guerrier qui devient un loup pour se venger de sa grosse peine. Ah, la belle pétarade. En 17 que c'était. Et le Kaiser, il se souvient de moi avec ma belle carabine. Bang, bang, que je lui disais. Bang, bang, bang. Ah, le bon. Mon beau bonnet du beau temps. Puis ma ceinture, où je glissais mon flasque. Le monde tournait plus quand on s'habillait de même.
The Polaroid, Carl's long-standing and faithful ally, has seen its share of husbands caught red-handed cheating. There's always something out there waiting to be snapped away. There, Carl had fed his mind, but had forgotten the harsh reality that his body also needed nourishment, especially in the dead of winter. With a homemade shooting range such as this, it wasn't hard to imagine a stray bullet ending its course inside the flesh of an unsuspecting passerby. Granted, Carl thought, there wasn't much in the way of passers-by around here. The place looked more like a pigsty than a house. A heavy stench of curdled milk, cheap alcohol, and boiled cauliflower filled the air. You had to be out of your mind to cook up white whiskey at home. The all-surrounding stench of alcohol alone was probably enough to gas a man to death. The rag reeked of fermented vomit. Carl wondered how one could bear to live in such gross and horrid conditions. Carl knew right away that the owner of this place wasn't a copper collector. No, this was a junkman's base of operations. The guy definitely seemed like quite the expert in scavenging scrap metal, with or without permission, surely. In the right hands, red metal could sell like hotcakes. Jean Blouin. Seems like that pig had a name after all. Rock music invaded the minds of men even in the remotest of places. The man didn't own a turntable, though, so there's that going for him. Back then, in Africa and elsewhere, people ready to take up arms to stand against the yoke of English imperialism. In Montreal, mailboxes were blown up, abductions were carried out, and violent manifestos were distributed to media outlets. But around here, in the great northernmost, all a man could do is curse out loud against a faraway evil and pray for the revolution to arise. That man, by any reckoning, was from that very stock.